Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to English class. Today, we are going to do the 10th lesson from our reader First Flight, and the title of the lesson is The Sermon at Banaras. It's a story from the life of Gautama Buddha, and it's one of the stories mentioned in Jataka Tales. Jataka Tales are where we have a collection of stories of Gautama Buddha. A lot of moral stories are there. Now, let us, before we go into the story, let us start with the title The Sermon at Banaras. Now, sermon means what? Religious talk. We go to a temple or we go to any prayer place. We hear a lot of religious talk happening where they tell us right, wrong, our religion based values that we need to follow and all. So, that is a sermon. Now, this particular story, what we are going to study, is from a sermon, a religious talk given by Gautama Buddha at Banaras. Now, Benares, otherwise called Banaras, is what we know as Varanasi, and it's popularly known as Kasi. Varanasi or Kasi is a religious place or very popular religious place, a pilgrimage center for Hindus as well as for Buddhists. It's in Uttar Pradesh, right? So let us look into this story. But before we go, let us have a quick glimpse into the certain information that we know about Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha, his original name is Siddhartha Gautama. He was actually a prince, of Sakya clan, Vansha, Sakya Vansha. He belongs to there, and the place is Kapilavastu, right? And that Lumbini, Kapilavastu, and Lumbini is a place in Kapilavastu. We have Kapilavastu somewhere in Nepal, children. That's what we all believe. His father was Suddhodana, who was the king of Kapilavastu, and his mother was Maya Devi. And Gautama Buddha or Siddhartha Gautama was their son. After many prayers and all, they say that one night Maya Devi had a dream, and in her dream she saw a white elephant with 6 tusks. And 10 months later, after the dream, she has given birth to Siddhartha Gautama. And they say that when he was born, a seer, a yogi, he saw his horoscope, that is Jatakam, and he said, this boy has great traits, great characters in him, and this boy either will become a great king or he will become a great monk, a sannyasi. And father being a king, he said, okay, fine. So he didn't want his son to become a sannyasi, so he wanted him to become a great king. And the story goes that for many years, Gautama Buddha, that is Siddhartha Gautama, never saw anything outside his palace walls. He was closed inside. Everything around him was made sure that was constant, only happiness, people laughing and all, anyone pain, death, unhappiness, old people. He never knew and never saw any of this. And that's how he was brought up for many years. And because his father didn't want him to understand pain or anything, because his father was worried that this boy will become a sannyasi. And the story goes that one day, accidentally, without much information to others, Gautam Buddha comes out of his palace, and with his attender, he goes on a tour. And while he was traveling, accidentally he happens to come across an old man. Until that time, he never thought people will become old also. He saw a diseased man, a person suffering with disease. Then he saw a corpse, a dead body, and he saw a monk, a sannyasi. These are called 4 sights in Buddhist scriptures. And these 4 things made Gautam Buddha realized that life is different. There are human beings are in pain, human beings suffer, human beings die. Right? So this made him think. And we know that by the time Gautam Buddha was married, his wife name was Yashodhara. He had a son called Rahula. And they say that he couldn't take this concept of people in pain or unhappiness. So one midnight, without informing anyone, in the middle of the night, they say that Siddhartha Gautama left the palace and went in search of an answer for the question, why human beings suffer. And he went around and moving around and trying to find answers, meeting people. And slowly he started meditating and all. He wanted to find answer, and they say that he reached Bodh Gaya, which is in the present Bihar. And they say for 7 days he sat under a peepal tree, that is Bodhi Vriksha. And they say that on 7th day he had a Jnanodaya, enlightenment. And from there, Siddhartha Gautama has become Gautama Buddha. Buddha means enlightened one, awakened one, Jnanodaya, one who had Jnanodaya. That's how the word Buddha means. And from there, he was called as Sakya Muni. Muni means a rishi, a sage, a monk of Sakya Vansha. Remember, I told you he's from that Vansha of Sakya clan. So that is a brief glimpse into the life of Gautama Buddha. And let us see further what is mentioned in our lesson. Gautama Buddha, his timeline is 563 BC to 483 BC. Children, why 563 BC to 483 BC? Usually when we write it as person was born in 483 and died in 563. But remember, this is BC. Nana. In social studies, you studied about timeline. Roughly for our understanding, we take 0 as the time period when Christ was born, and anything above that is before Christ, right? So that was BC and this is AD. Now when I am writing BC, remember your mathematics, how you write negative integers to 0, then from positive integers. Similarly, here also 563, 562, 561, 560, 559, like that, you come to 483. So 563 is here and 483 is here. And he was born in this year and he died in this year. So Gautama Buddha, I said Buddha means awakened one. So this Gautama Buddha began life as a prince named Siddhartha Gautama in northern India. I told him ancient northern India, present Uttar Pradesh region to Nepal region. At 12, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures, and 4 years later, he returned home to marry a princess. Hindu sacred scriptures are nothing but Vedas and Puranas. Nana. They had a son and lived for 10 years as befitted royalty. Very beautifully they lived, and I told you they had, the princess was Yashodhara and the son's name was Rahula. At about the age of 25, the prince, that is Siddhartha Gautama, heretofore shielded from the sufferings of the world, that is, all these days he was, I told you, remember, he was not allowed to know about suffering in the world. While out hunting, chanced upon a sick man, an aged man, a funeral procession, that is a corpse, yes, in a dead body, and finally a monk begging for alms. Now ALMS, Nana, you read it as alms, Nana. Now what does this alms means? For requesting for some kind of dana. So he saw these 4 sights. These sights so moved him that he at once went out into the world to seek enlightenment concerning the sorrows he had witnessed. Now enlightenment means for Jnanodaya. He wanted to understand why people were suffering. And the story which I told, it continues down here. He wandered for 7 years and finally sat under a peepal tree, I told him, Bodhi Vriksha, where he vowed to stay until enlightenment came. So he sat under the tree, and this people tree, this Bodhi Vriksha, was in Bodh Gaya, a place in the present UP, Nana. And this is where he sat down, and he took a promise. Vow is to take a promise that I will not get up from this tree. And he was in a deep meditation. Enlightened after 7 days, he renamed the tree the Bodhi tree. Bodhi means wisdom. And he began to teach and to share his new understandings. At that point, he became known as the Buddha, the awakened, the enlightened one. Means what? The one who had achieved Jnanodaya. The Buddha preached his first sermon at the city of Benares, most holy of the dipping places on the river Ganges. Most holy place because we believe, I told you, for Hindus and all, we believe that is the place where Kasi Viswanatha temple is there. You must have heard that people believe that going to Kasi and dying there is supposed to be we believe to be one of the greatest things to do, a good thing to do. It washes away all our bad deeds and all. That sermon had been preserved and is given here. So that sermon, that religious talk he gave after he became enlightened in Benares, he has given that, and that is the story, or that is the religious talk we are going to read. The sermon is what we are going to read. It reflects the Buddha's wisdom about one inscrutable kind of suffering. So in that he speaks about one suffering which mankind has to undergo. What is that suffering? Why that suffering that we humans have to undergo is what we are going to see here. Kisa Gautami had an only son and he died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine. And the people said, she has lost her senses. The boy is dead. Now this is a story where the religious talk, that sermon, Gautam Buddha, he starts telling a story there. Okay, so this story is about Kisa Gautami. Kisa Gautami is supposed to be a wife of a wealthy businessman in Shravasti, which is in the present UP region. So they said that they had one son and that boy died. Out of that grief, that is out of that sadness, the mother carries, Kisa Gautami, mother carries the child, and she goes from one place to another to knocking the doors of every one of their neighborhood saying, help me out to bring my child back to life. And everyone thought that she lost her senses. What do you mean by lost her senses? She became mad in grief because of her child's death. So they said, Kisa, we cannot bring anyone who has died. And the girl said, girl here is Kisa Gautami, said, pray tell me, sir, who is it? I'm sorry, I missed one stanza, Nana. At length, Kisa Gautami met a man who replied to her request. So she was going around asking everyone. And then no one could help her, but one man gave her some suggestion. I cannot give you the medicine for thy child, but I know a physician who can. So the man said, see, thee. It's an old English, na. Thee or thou means you, thy means your. So he says, I cannot give you medicine for your child, but I know a physician, a doctor. Physician is nothing but a doctor who can. And now Kisa had a bit of relief with, okay, there is someone who can help me. And the girl said, pray tell me, sir, who is it? Here girl is Kisa. She said, please pray, I plead you, I request you, kindly tell me who is that physician who can bring my child back to life. And the man replied, go to Sakya Muni, the Buddha. I told you, na beta, Buddha is known Sakya Muni. Muni means a sage, and because he's from Sakya Vansha, he was called Sakya Muni. It's another name for Gautama Buddha. So he said, you go and meet Gautam Buddha. He has powers. He can bring your child back to life. Kisa Gautami repaired to Buddha and cried. Here, children, repaired is not typical word of making a repairing something. Here, it means went to. She went and met. These are not day-to-day usage of words, Nana. And remember, these are ancient texts, so the language is little different. So she went to Gautam Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy. She says, please give me medicine. The Buddha answered, I want a handful of mustard seeds. And when the girl in her joy promised to procure it, the Buddha said, the mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. So Buddha says, okay, fine, very simple, I can do it. I want you to go and get me mustard. Mustard is what, Nani? Sasive in Kannada, or Rai, what we call it in Hindi. He says, get it. I will bring your child back to life. And remember, mustard is almost present in everyone's house. We use on daily basis. So Kisa was very happy that I will get that mustard and my child will be back to life. And that was the hope. But then he put a condition. He says mustard seeds can be taken only from that house where there was no death. No child or a husband or a parent or a friend. No one should have died in that house. Children, I think this reminds you of that movie Manjunatha, right? I think in the Sri Manjunatha movie also you have a typical kind of an incident, right? So let's continue. Poor Kisa Gautami now went from house to house and people pitied her. Pitied means they felt bad for her. Here is mustard seeds, take it. So whenever she asked, people gave. They felt very bad. Ayyo papam, she's still in grief of losing her son. But when she asked, did a son or a daughter, a father or a mother die in your family? They answered, alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Do not remind us of our deepest griefs. And there was no house, but someone beloved one had died in it. So there was no house in which no one has died, because every family, at one time or other, we have lost some family members. So people said, come on here, every family has it. So we are ready to give mustard, but we had someone dying in our family. Kisa Gautami became weary and hopeless and sat down at the wayside watching the lights of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. So she was tired, she was very, very low, and she was very much depressed. So on one side of the road, on a footpath kind of thing, she sat down and she was watching. From morning she was running from house to house, and it was almost late into the evening. Everywhere lights were there, and some lights got extinguished also then. At last the darkness of the night reigned everywhere. Reign means rule. That means it became complete dark. It's night time. She considered the fate of men. She was thinking, what is human being life? That their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. Right? Human life, you see, flicker up. That means raise. Flame raises, like diya ka flame comes up. Lamp ka flame comes up. It lights for some time, and after a time, that flame put off. That diya is put off. She says, this is what is human life. And she thought to herself, how selfish am I in my grief? Death is common to all, and yet in this valley of desolation, there is a path that leads him to immortality, who has surrendered all the selfishness. So she then, for the first time, she's coming slowly out of the grief, from the shock of losing her child. Then she says, yes, death is everywhere. Every human who is born, every living organism who is born will die one day. And what is left out? This immortality cannot happen. It's only by dying we attain the next stage. That is what she understood. The Buddha said, the life of mortals in this world is troubled, brief, and combined with pain. Children, look at the word mortal. Right? That means someone who will die. Immortal. Gods, we consider them to be immortal. That is, they do not die. So he says, we are mortals. That means we die. And during that small pace of life we are present, we experience pain. We experience grief. And this is what is human life all about. For there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. After reaching old age, there is death. Of such a nature are living beings. As ripe fruits are early in the danger of falling, so mortals who, when born, are always in danger of death. As all earthen vessels made by potter end in being broken, so is the life of mortals, both young and adult, both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death. All are subject to death. So Gautam Buddha says human life is that. We are mortals. We are those who are going to die one day. Earthen pots, the potter makes the vessels with mud, and one day that pot will break. It is that life of that pot. We are also made of this composition of the nature, and one day we die and we go back into that nature. So we cannot avoid death. Of those who overcome by death depart from life. A father cannot save his son, nor kinmen's their relation. Mark, while relatives are looking on and lamenting deeply, one by one mortals are carried off, like an ox that is led to the slaughter. So the world is afflicted with death and decay. Therefore, the wise do not grieve, knowing the terms of the world. So in his sermon, Gautam Buddha is saying that death is inevitable. You cannot escape it. Right? A father cannot save his son. A relation, blood relation cannot save the other relatives. Kinsman means blood relation. Everyone is looking, we are crying, we are feeling sad for one death, then the next person to next person, one after other. People who were born, they will die. Same way, how we take old ox which is very old, which cannot now no more be of any use to the farmer, how it is taken for slaughtering. Same is the human life. So Gautam Buddha says, accept death. And during that small life you have, what is that you can do? Right? That is what is very, very important. Not from weeping nor from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. On the contrary, his pain will be greater and his body will suffer. He will make himself sick and pale. Yet the dead are not saved by his lamentation. He who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation and complaint and grief. He who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrows will become free from sorrow and will be blessed. So what is that? Little high philosophy, children. But thing is, life and death go parallel. Right? They go hand in hand. There is a birth, then definitely there is a death. So that is what he's telling. So instead of lamenting, crying, instead of being in a grief, instead of being in a pain, you leave that, remove that attachment and all. Accept the life the way it comes. Accept that when there is a birth, there is a death. Then you will not be wasting your time in crying. The more you are in pain, the more you are in grief, further your pain will only increase. So accept it and be happy and do good deeds. And the person who is come, accept him in the same way. The person who dies, accept his death also in the same way. If you are able to come to that stable mindset where you accept death and life, that is when you will attain your essence of being born as a human being. You will become awakened. That is what is sermon of Banaras, a religious talk given by Gautam Buddha. So the first sermon given by him at Banaras was on the topic of human death. Right? So this was it, children. Hope you have understood it and you enjoy. Children, understand, appreciate life we have been given a gift. Being born was a gift, and it's a very short duration के लिए. In that time we are on this earth. What is that I can do? That would be something worthwhile, something that I am happy about. Do good things. Be happy. Make people around you happy. Be good to others. The day we are not there, people should remember our good deeds more than talking about things that we have done wrong. And as a human being, whatever small thing you can do to the society, to the other human beings, do that, and you will feel proud and you will feel happy with your life, right? So I hope and I pray that in future you will make yourself something that dreams and all are okay, children, but beyond that you will be a good human being, right? And I only pray for that. God bless you all, children.